who the hell is the Hakurei God? That's why we're here, right? We have to decide who the Hakurei God is. This mysterious figure who hovers behind Reimu's shrine and is supposedly the source of her powers. Now, what we may not know is that the identity of the Hakurei God is completely unknown, even to Reimu. So there's actually no baseline to speculate off, except for the fact that Ryunosuke Morishika has mentioned that he knows the Hakurei God, or has met them or knows their name. But he's never elaborated, and Reimu doesn't care enough to ask. So that leaves it to us fans to ask the important questions. First of all, what gender is the Hakurei God? So if it was a woman, would it not be the Hakurei Goddess? Because that's how the... But then, when you think about it, the Moria Shrine Gods are referred to as gods, not goddesses. They might be goddesses. Actually, Zune is all over the place with that. Like, friggin' Hakeshi, I think, is called a god. But the Aki sisters are goddesses. I might be rusty on my terminology there. But, we don't know the gender of the Hakurei God, is what I'm trying to say. But if I were a betting person, I would say a guy. Now, hear me out. I think the Hakurei God being a guy would be absolutely hilarious and actually smart because we would never see it coming. Remember, Zune originally wanted the boss of Touhou 12 to be Hijiri Myorin, Byakuran's brother, but he decided the fandom was so used to girls that changing it to a boy all of a sudden would be weird. But what if he got over that little hang-up and was like, no, actually, the Hakurei God is in fact a dude bro, which would be absolutely hilarious. But that would require me crafting a character entirely from scratch. And we're not here for that. This isn't an OC channel. You don't want to hear me talk about his likes, dislikes, what he looks like. No. But if you want that, I will make another video titled Creating the Hakurei God if you're interested in that. But no, what we're doing in this video is looking at the selection of characters that already exist and going, I wonder which one of them is actually the Hakurei God in disguise. Because I think it was hinted that or am I thinking of a different series? Whatever. I think we've actually met the Hakurei God before. Especially if Ryunosuke knows who they are. Now, a lot of people think Yukari Yakumo is actually the Hakurei God, and that's why she helps Reimu so much. That's not correct, because Yukari is busy, and she's already got a much more important role designation, which is one of the 4 sages of Gensokyo, who helped the Dragon God create Gensokyo. And here's a misnomer. The Dragon God and the Hakurei God, 2 different characters. They're not related. So, to those who theorize that the Dragon God might also be the Hakurei God, that is absolutely false. Dragon God is doing his own thing. I don't know where he is right now. Maybe he's in Dragon Ball. I don't know. Maybe he turned into Shenron. I don't know. He's the llama. We'll do a theory on that later. Like, what happened to the Dragon God? But right now, in this video, we're talking about the Hakurei God. So, who is the Hakurei God? Well, ignoring the Yukari Yakumo and Dragon God theories, because I don't agree with those, I thought it would be actually amusing if we take in some PC98, a series that Zune is actively trying to bury and doesn't let people re-upload games of because he hates it for some reason. What if the Hakurei God was actually not Mima? Shut up, it's not her. But what if it was Shingyoku? You know, that those 2 priest characters, where the first ever male character of Touhou actually was, that you fought in Touhou 1. What if Shingyoku was actually the Hakurei God, and they were testing Reimu on her quest to leave the thing? What if, this entire time, Shingyoku was actually the Hakurei God? Would it not make sense? I mean, they were dressed like onmyoji, so, perhaps, actually, they are indeed the Hakurei God. Wouldn't that be absolutely fascinating? I think it would be. Now, one thing that many people don't think of is, if Shingyoku is the Hakurei God, where are they? Well, perhaps they just tested Reimu there, and now they're in hiding, and they don't want to, impede on the ways of Gensokyo anymore. Because, riddle me this, if Reimu knew the name of the Hakurei God, would it not be a situation similar to match Creolite and Galahad in Fate Grand Order. Like, Reimu not knowing the god's name is actually limiting her. If she learned the god's name, perhaps she could become as powerful as Yorihime. And, well, it also constitutes her taking her job seriously and actively asking the god its name, which is something she actually hasn't done. She doesn't care enough to ask. So, it could be that Reimu is playing coy and she knows exactly who the Hakurei God is, but she doesn't care enough to ask its name or introduce people. Or maybe the god just doesn't want to be bothered and lives in the attic, like Reimu lives, like Flanger lives in the basement. They're both hikikomoris, and they're like, I don't ever want to talk to anyone and leave everywhere again. So, that is entirely possible. So that's the Shingyoku theory. Let's go on to another theory that is so left field that I don't even believe it myself, but I think it's kind of amusing. The Hakurei God is, brace for it, wait for it now. The Hakurei God is actually Kaneko. What? Hold on. What are you talking about, Remy? What are you fucking talking about? Well, remember, Kaneko isn't originally the Moria God, Suwaku is. Kaneko came over, beat Suwaku's ass, and took over the shrine. What if Kaneko is actually the original Hakurei God? And she came against. She was originally in Gensogyo helping Reimu, but then she left. I know it doesn't make sense, but wouldn't that be hilarious that she just betrayed her own freaking shrine because it wasn't making enough money? So she came up with all these harebrained schemes, hijacked another shrine, and was like, "This is indeed how I make money." Crack theory, I know, but it'd be friggin' hilarious if it was actually true. But no, here's another theory. And that is the fact that the Hakurei God is actually Zune. Now, a lot of people think the Hakurei God is like his author avatar, but that's actually Renosuke. Zune hasn't admitted as much. But if, like, Zune is the power of the Hakurei God because he's the one who writes Reimu. Did you know that Reimu wasn't originally meant to be a shrine maiden, right? No. He didn't intend for it. He just dressed her as a Miko, and people referred to Touhou as the shrine maiden shooting game. So he was like, you know what? Reimu's a Miko now. And that's how Reimu became a shrine maiden. So originally wasn't his idea to make her a shrine maiden. So I can see why the Hakurei God may very well be an afterthought and why he may be the Hakurei God itself. Okay, so, final theory. Let's see. Who would be the ideal Hakurei God? I think, and this may sound a little silly, I think it may actually be... Come here, get a little closer. Get a little closer. Get a little closer. It's very important that you listen to me, okay? Alright, so here is who the final theory for Hakurei God is. Now, we know all these characters, so what if the character in question is actually Acacia? Acacia, as we know, is one of the most powerful gods in Touhou. She kicks ass. So if Reimu was getting her power from Acacia, would that not make sense? Acacia also has 3 bodies, so she could easily have a body stationed at the Hakurei Shrine at all times. Now, you may be going, hey, Remy, Acacia is a goddess of all hells. No, she kicked ass and took over that position. It is not her original position, so she may very well be the Hakurei God. And that's why she's never around, because she has other duties that she deems important. And you know what? Here's a final crackpot theory. The Hakurei God is actually Genji. Yeah. You know what? Actually, that makes a disturbing amount of sense. Turtle for God, perhaps? See you next time, guys. You know what? I'm actually starting to believe in that turtle theory. Anyways. See ya, fairy maids!